Hi everybody, this is Ospreyeye from MyChartCoach.com, and we're going to take a look at some of the ticker symbols that were in play today. Okay, first up, let's take a look at APHB. Okay, very nice move today, closed up 34%, so very strong move into the close. RSI is still at 62, so there's still lots of room to run until the 70 overbought level. These annotations were from earlier today. This chart was posted earlier today. You can see Fasto did end up closing at 95. So frothy on Fasto, still room to run on RSI. You've got plus DI went from curling up to breaking out, so that was nice to see. That shows the bulls are really strong into the close. If you look here, what we were looking for was a close above the 50-day simple moving average. That's the green line here, currently at 110, and so today's close at 118 was above that level. So what we'd like to see now is that level to turn into support, and then the next key level to break is going to be the bottom of the gap. That's the closing or the high of day on the candle here. After this gap down open back here in May, you can see this is the top of the gap, the low of day on this candle, and the high of day on this candle is the bottom of the gap. And so that's going to be the next key level to break. The bottom of the gap resistance is always a big resistance level. So if it can bust through there, you could see a gap fill and a run to the top of the gap, which is right up here about 180. And so that will be the next target if it can break out above this resistance zone here at around 125 or so. And so yeah, keep an eye on it tomorrow. We're looking for more follow through. The key with this chart now is candles forming above the 50-day simple moving average signal more upside potential. If there's a close below that level, it'll be a signal that it's not quite ready to run and that it could consolidate further. If you see here that there was, after the gap down, there was a pullback and then a very long, strong channel, and the break today was above the top of the channel. So that usually is the signal that it wants to head higher. The closing price here was the key level to break. That happened today. So the chart is signaling more upside potential. If you look here at parabolic SAR, there was a flip. The green dots are below the candles. There was a giant volume spike. So yeah, when we posted the chart, it was at 6 million, and another 4 million poured in the day. So really strong volume to close the day. We'll see if it can break the bottom of the gap and head higher. Let's check out CERC. Okay, this was the big winner today. Closed up 125%. So congrats to everyone that traded CRC. This turned out to be a really nice play. It is at 89 on RSI, and Fasto is at 97. So it is looking frothy right now. And then you have this parabolic spike on plus DI. Notice how it's completely vertical. So that is unsustainable. If you look back here, the last time there was a parabolic spike was on this day, and that's the same time, the last time that a big white flagpole formed, like the big white candle that formed today. And if you notice here, there was a gap down open the next day, and a pullback followed. So bulls do not want to see history repeat. If you notice, that was also the last time there was a big volume spike. Check out the volume spike. This is back here on what is this, March, right before, yeah, this is the end of March. I guess I had here March 13th, but it looks like that's more like what is that, March 10th. So the March, this should be the March 10th close. And yeah, so basically today what we were looking for was a break above the March 10 close, and that was the key level to break on the run. That was what we call high close horizontal resistance, and so the close above that level today was very bullish. That was a strong close. It did push well above the upper Bollinger Band and EMA4 down here at 92 and 97. So on any kind of pullback, what you'd like to see is the 120 level hold, and that turned into support, since that was the previous big resistance level. You can see it was resistance back here in January as well, and so you want to see that level hold. If that breaks, you want to see the $1 level hold. You want to see $1 turn into support. On the upside, the next level to be tested tomorrow, and what bulls want to see a break above, is the 200-day simple moving average at 165. That is on deck. If there's not a gap down open tomorrow, that level is likely to get hit. It needs to bust above that level with the close above to run up to the 300-day simple moving average at 217. Notice there is a gap way up here. You know, the bottom of the gap level is down here around 275, 270 or so. And so, yeah, this is a very strong move. We'll see if it can follow through. There was enormous volume behind the move. It closed near high of day. It did close frothy. If you notice here, down here in MACD, the MACD line is breaking out. Notice that the MACD line is at its highest level since back here in November and back in November. And so this is you know, a very strong move. We'd like to see this follow through. You know, if it pulls back, look for a reload off of support, and since it's in a very strong uptrend, as long as support holds, the uptrend should continue. Okay, let's take a look at NSPR. Okay, this has a nice setup going. Currently RSI is at 51. We want to see RSI stay above 50. It has a lot of room to run until the 70 overbought level. Fasto was at overbought levels. It pulled back, it corrected. Now it's below 50. It needs to get back above 50 for the chart to be bullish, for Fasto to be signaling the chart is strong and bullish. What we want to see here is the down here on the 50-day simple moving average. You can see the green line. It was big resistance, and then there was a break above that level on Friday. Notice on Friday there was a close above the 50-day simple moving average on a giant volume spike. Notice how prior to last Friday that there was very low volume, and so similar to the previous chart we were looking at, there was a gap down. The share price pulled back. It found support, and then it created a sideways trend. And then after having a sideways channel for a couple weeks, on Friday it broke out on a volume spike. That is usually the signal that it wants to head higher. Now the key for this chart that we really want to see happen is we want to see this green line hold. Also the middle Bollinger Band needs to hold currently at 55. So right now 55 to 57 is the big support zone. It is also the load zone if support holds. And if it does, then we want to see a break above the closing price here on last Friday, and then that's going to put the April resistance on deck. And if it can get above that, then we'll be talking about a potential run up to the 100-day simple moving average. So the big deal here with this chart is as long as candles are forming above the 50-day simple moving average, there will be more upside potential. If it pulls back below and it drops back below the middle Bollinger Band, then you can see it drop back down and test 50 and get back in the sideways channel. So the big volume spikes here are the clue that there's more upside potential. It looks like they're pulling back for people to load. You know, as long as support holds, this should head higher. Keep an eye on MACD. You don't want to see the 8, 13, and 5 have a bearish crossover. You can see the big spike and accumulation distribution, but it has since pulled back. And many times when you see the long upper wick with support holding, that's a signal that traders are loading. So we'll see if that is the case with NSPR. If you take a look here at the NSPR 15-minute chart, you'll see here the moving averages are all converged in here between 55 and 59, and notice here that it's really tight between 58 and 59, with EMA 4, 8, 13, 50, and 100 all converged in the same zone right here, along with the middle Bollinger Band at 59. So this is a really big resistance zone and a really big level to break. If it can get above 59 tomorrow, that should be the signal that it wants to head higher, because if NSPR is trading above 59, then it's trading above all the moving averages on the 15-minute chart. So that's what we're looking at for tomorrow, a break back above the middle Bollinger Band. That would set up a run back up here to 63, and then if it could break above 63, then you're talking about you know, testing the 67 level and then possibly heading higher. The chart is set up for it. It just needs to follow through. If you look here, you'll see there's been a lot of volume in this 57 to 64 range, you know, with some volume up here at 66, 67. So this has been, it looks like a big loading zone, and we'll see if it'll pay off with a breakout higher. Notice it closed in the day with very light volume going into the close. So you know, there were the volume spikes. This looks like these look like the load spikes, and then potentially this could break out higher. Down below support is the 200 and 300 simple moving averages. currently down here at 55. Okay, so that they should hold on a pullback. You know, a breakout above 63 should send the share price higher. Okay, take a look at AVGR. Okay, this is another stock that you know, has been setting up, and then today it started heating up for us. If you look here, RSI and Fasto are both in the bull zone. They're both in the 50s at 54 and 55. They both have a ton of room to run until overbought levels, which is good. That shows that this is the start of a run if it can continue with the upside, with the uptrend. If you look here, Plus DI had a bullish crossover. The green line crossed the black line to the upside. It crossed over at the ADX line, so that's a signal the bulls are in control. What we were, you know, there was a really bullish move, a strong spike today up to 60 resistance, and then it pulled back. What we wanted to see was a close above the June 19th closing price. That was the first key level to break. That's right here, and it did close above that red horizontal resistance line. That is good. The next key level to break is the June high close level, which is right here below 55, and so it needs to close above that level at 54, and then that would put the 60 resistance zone on deck. As you can see here, the 60 level, 55 to 60 was a big support zone. So if it can break through there and then get past 70, then you're talking about a run back up to dollar land. So this is a big resistance zone for AVGR. But today's move on a big volume spike, notice that volume did spike today. That is a signal that it wants to head higher. Now once again, in order for AVGR to be a good play, it needs to hold this green line here, which is the 50-day simple moving average. This is the third close in a row above that level after it being resistance for several days. I mean, look at all the candles that hit the 50 before it finally broke on Monday. And so now if it can turn into support, we're thinking that it could break out higher. So keep an eye on it. You know, volume is picking up. The MACD is pinched down here in the 8, 13, and 5. And so what we want to see is we want to see the MACD line separate from the signal line and start heading higher. If you look here at the AVGR 15-minute chart, this is going to show you the breakout today. Notice the Bollinger Bands were really tight. And then you had the pullback on light volume, and then the break above the middle Bollinger Band and above the 50-day simple move, or the 50 simple moving average on a volume spike. So this candle right here was your clue. It was heating up because it had broke above the moving averages and above the middle Bollinger Band. And then for this chart, the 50 simple moving average was the top level. So at 12:15, when it busted above that level on a big volume spike, that was your signal that it was back in play. You know, alerts went out, the share price ran, and then it gave the gains back. Nobody likes to see that. When a stock pulls back and then it breaks EMA for support like it did here, many times that'll signal that it wants to consolidate. You know, you'd like to see EMA 8 support hold. When that level broke right here, that was putting the middle Bollinger Band on deck. It did have a nice bounce off the middle Bollinger Band at 3 o'clock, and so that's what we want to see hold. You know, it came back down and tested that 49 level at the close. For AVGR to stay in play for us, it needs to get back above the middle Bollinger Band. It has to stay above this 50 simple moving average at 47. If it breaks below the 50 simple moving average, then it's a signal that it's just not ready to go. But if it can stay above this green line and this dotted purple line, then we're talking about a run back up to 58 and a potential to run higher. So keep an eye on AVGR. It looks like it's setting up. Take a look at MARA. This is another stock that had a good move today. It's at 56 on RSI, so it's not overbought. It has room to run. You've got Fasto at 66, so this is another, you know, it's in the bull zone, so both indicators are not overbought. That is good. You can see Plus DI here, the green line is below the black line, so what bulls want to see, they want to see that green line break above the black line. That would be a signal that this chart is building strength and that the bulls are strongly in control. What we're looking for now, see the share price pulled back after closing above the upper Bollinger Band on the 26th. The share price pulled all the way back to and tested the 50 simple moving average in EMA 13, the orange line, and it held that level and bounced today. It got back above EMA 4. Notice it had closed 3 days in a row below EMA 4. That's our signal it wants to head higher. We want to see EMA 4 support hold now at 38. If it closes back below that level, that's your signal that it's cooling down. You know, it needs to hold the green line. Once again, this chart is all riding on this 50 simple moving average. If it holds, then we're looking for a break above this high close here here at 51, and then that's going to put our 70 level back on deck. So a break above 51, and we're looking for a run to 70. If it breaks below the 50 simple moving average, then you're talking about a middle Bollinger Band support test at 29. The volume spike today, notice it was the best volume since the big spike on the last run, and the break above and the close above resistance is our signal that there's more upside for MARA. Okay, so keep an eye on that tomorrow. Okay, now let's look at a couple of the OTC stocks that we discussed these in our chat, and we're posting them all day long. We just don't post them much on StockTwits and other websites. So if you're into OTC plays and you like these lotto type of plays that have they run multiple thousand% gain in a few days, then please check out our chat. Here's IMTV. It was that big winner yesterday, and then it pulled back today, and then it did form bearish dark cloud cover reversal pattern. I mean, it looks to me like the candle closed more than halfway through the midpoint of the previous candle. So we'll see here if this is going to be the signal that the share price wants to pull back. That said, the close was above EMA4, and so EMA4 support is holding, and that is signaling that the chart is still very strong. I mean, it had this huge 45% gain yesterday, and then today, it gave back it was down like 40% or something, and so basically what we want to see on this chart, we're looking for a potential test down here at EMA8 at 0.012, and we're thinking the 0.01 to 0.012 could be the reload zone if support holds, because if you look at the previous spikes, notice the big spike and then it pulled back and it held EMA8. Big spike above the upper Bollinger Band, pulled back, held EMA8. So we have a big spike above the upper Bollinger Band. It's pulled back. It's held EMA4 like the previous first red candles, but then the second candle each time tested, or this time it was the third candle, but each time on the pullbacks EMA8 was tested. That's why we were discussing being patient. No one was looking to load today in our chat. People are looking tomorrow for a potential load off this 10 to 12 support zone if it gets tested. Now IMTV could bounce and start running above that level tomorrow. So we just have to see, and it could potentially come down and test 0012 and 0010 and not hold support and break down lower. So for IMTV to remain in play, it has to stay above the blue line. If blue line support, EMA8 support breaks with the close below, then it will no longer be in play for us. Right now it's still in play. It was just, whenever a stock is up 245%, you want to be looking at locking in gains, and then so now we've been on the look for the reload lower mode, and so tomorrow should provide a reload opportunity tomorrow, the next day, if the trend is going to continue and the strong uptrend here. So keep an eye on IMTV. Okay, let's look at ICTY. Okay, this is just another one of those OTC stocks that's running. You can see down here it was in double O's, and then it's up 1,000% here in a few days. These stocks are pretty crazy. They're like trading options. They can be where you get the staggering gains in a short period of time, but they are super risky and very volatile, and they are not recommended for new traders, because you can get burned. People get burned all the time, but I'm just presenting plays to you and showing that there's a lot of opportunity out there. Our saying is there are no bad stocks, there are only bad entry and exit points. So if you look here, the stock has a nice uptrend going. Once again, for these stock score charts that we post, that we show in the videos, okay, these are the OTC stocks that aren't on stockcharts.com. And for these plays, we like to go by EMAs 4 and 8. And if the candles are above that level, it's in play. And if they drop below, it's no longer in play. So as you can see here, candles are forming above EMAs 4 and 8. As long as support's holding, the stock is still in play. Okay, look at ARYC. This is on a huge breakout. Okay, it's overbought right now in RSI. It has some room to run on Fasto a little bit. It's at 76, but it's got a crossover there. Notice the big volume spike. All right, it's the largest volume since way back here when there was the start of this previous big run from double zeros. And so yeah, This is breaking out to a new 52-week high today. It hit new 52-week high, and it did pull back from high of day. If you look at the 1-month chart, you can see, actually, let's look at 3-month because they do a 120. So yeah, you can see here the breakout today. And so this is once again riding EMA's 4 and 8 support higher. There is big volume, okay? So it did pull back from a high of day, but it is still very bullish and very strong. You know, as long as support is holding, you want to see this now staying above doubles, you know, stay in penny land, because you notice it broke above penny land today, 0.010. That is the big support level to hold. You want to see the share price stay above that going forward. Okay, so keep an eye on ARYC. All right, thank you very much for viewing this video. If you'd like to learn more about charts and technical analysis, check us out at mychartcoach.com and our YouTube channel at mychartcoach.com. Thank you.